That's weird. That's weird. Kind of weirding me out.
You are a sad, strange little man.
Crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. Isn't that weird?
That's weird, man.
It's strange.
What's up, campers? Welcome back to episode 28 of Camp Strange. I am your camp counselor, Alex Tobin.
And I'm your other camp counselor, David Stokes.
And we're back. We're back, and we got more stories for you.
We're so back.
We're back in action. And I really wanted to say this. Let's just get into this story because this is actually related to last week's episode, where
the news story you got.
The new news story.
Oh, so it's an update from a previous news story.
It's not an update, but it's related. So remember how last week we talked about Gorilla Cop and Sex Pest?
Of course.
Yeah.
Who could forget about Sex Pest?
They're classics. I saw another news article.
About Sex Pest?
No.
Okay.
About a gorilla suit, though.
Okay.
So, apparently, police say a man wearing... Where was this? Oh, Louisiana, because this is in Louisiana. It's not Florida. Okay. So, police say a man wearing a gorilla suit broke into a Louisiana home and hid under a mattress before officers arrested him. That's the first thing that was kind of weird. Is like, wouldn't you just try to go for underneath the bed? Do you think he was hiding between the mattress and the box spring? Or
I mean, that's a way easier spot.
Or do you think the house is not nice enough to have a box spring or
when
any kind of frame?
To correct myself there, when I say spot, I meant more like visually spotting someone, not like an area, because you can see when someone is in between the two.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean,
yeah.
if he's, it's very lumpy. If all of a sudden there's somebody's under, there's no, it's like a blanket where if you put a blanket, you're like, okay, maybe you could get really flat, but like if you're really flat under a mattress, the mattress is just gonna be completely at like an angle. And,
well, see, that's what
this
is what you do. You get the pillows and stuff. You make it look like there's a body underneath, like you're playing hooky. So when they rip the sheets off, they're not going to go, oh, what's under the bed? They're going to go, damn it, he's gone.
While he's on the ceiling.
Yes.
Doing the
well, he's a gorilla.
He is a gorilla. He's in a
Shouldn't
costume.
they have called animal control?
No, because apparently they were able to get him very, very easily.
Oh.
They just ran in and arrested him and ripped him out from under his so good hiding spot.
So he was underneath. Or was he between the box spring?
They did not get into detail.
Okay.
That's not even important.
Yeah.
But he was jailed on charges. Here were his charges, which is the interesting part. I'm going to get to the interesting part. The charges included resisting an officer, unauthorized entry, meth possession. That explains a lot. And the big one, wearing a mask.
Oh, shit. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it's a big one. So in Louisiana, a person convicted of wearing a mask in public can be sentenced to 3 years in prison at most.
Jesus.
Isn't that crazy? So it says right here, it says exceptions are allowed for religious purposes or on holidays like Halloween and Mardi Gras. It's unclear if Moran has a lawyer who could comment. And it's really funny because his name is spelled Moran, so it's kind of like moron.
Yeah.
Close enough, you know?
Close enough, yeah.
And, you know.
Yeah, one time on Halloween, I think this was in Portland. It could have been Idaho. But, you know what? I think it was Idaho. And I had the mask, like, on top of my head, like almost like a beanie.
Okay, let's talk mask first. What mask are you rocking right now?
I don't remember. That's why I can't remember where I was.
Oh.
Because I usually don't go with the masks, but I can't remember.
I never go with a mask. If you wear a mask, it's like
all night. It's a pain in the
most
ass.
inconvenient. Like I feel like once you're past 8 years old, you're like fuck masks. Unless it's like the mask that you put on. It's like the rubber masks are the ones that are problematic. The ones that go.
They get so sweaty in there.
Exactly. Like there's like condensation all over the inside from your breath.
Oh yeah.
I had a big baseball head mask.
Oh yeah.
That I thought was really cool.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I wore my baseball uniform, and I was like, it was right when Barry Bonds hit his 73rd home run.
Who cares? He had roids.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter because he was balling, and I drew like a big 73 on the side, and I thought it was the fucking coolest baseball in the neighborhood, dude.
I mean, I'd hope you were the only baseball in the neighborhood.
Dude, that was a popular costume.
Okay, but what I was going to say was I remember I had it on top of my head, so it was almost more like a beanie kind of situation. Like my face is completely revealed.
Yeah.
And I go in to buy beer.
Uh-oh.
And I remember I feel like it was a gas station or something like that, but the guy was like, Yeah, it's a good thing you came in here with that knot on your face, or else I would have had to shoot you.
Oh.
And I was just like, yeah, that would have not been fun.
So
like,
what is this guy looking like? Like, is he young, old, crazy? You know,
this is making me think more and more that this was Idaho.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say if you're buying beer too, I don't think you're old enough when you were living in. Oh no, you lived in Portland after college, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we won't get into your personal life.
Yeah, no.
But yeah. So I don't know. Do you think he would
Master
actually?
sketch.
It's Halloween, you know. You can't be too trigger happy on Halloween, but you do have to be aware because that's the best time to rob somebody. Because you get comfortable in there, be walking in with the mask.
You show up with the most popular costume of the year.
Yeah.
You know, it's what, 2009, and you show up looking like the Joker.
What's happening? Oh,
how many Jokers are out there?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, what was a big costume in 2009?
Dark Knight came out in 2009.
Did it? Yeah, that Joker's still.
Nah, 2008. 2008.
Joker's still a big costume, but you got to have long hair.
The Jared Leto one.
You got to have like spring a spray bottle and just wet your hair the entire. Oh
right,
yeah, Jared
damaged
Leto.
on your forehead with a Sharpie.
Yeah, Jared Leto Joker.
Woof. He's gone. He's done.
Well, here's the thing. Heath Ledger Joker, you got to have wet hair, like wet long hair the entire time,
like a dog,
or it doesn't work. Jared Leto Joker, you got to have
self-hatred.
Abs.
Oh, sorry.
Because it's an open, and self-hatred.
And a gold grill.
And you got to send rats to people.
And you have to be blaring Rick Ross the whole time.
Yeah. Lamborghini something. But anyway, yeah, so you're open trench coat the whole time, so you got to be like looking good with their body. You can't be fat Joker.
It's true. You don't have to worry about the arms, just the abs. Got that trench coat going.
Yeah, you got the trench coat.
Yeah.
It's just the abs. You could probably like.
I'm so glad that that's gone.
On there.
I'm so glad that I'm pretty sure they confirmed that Jared Leto Joker is.
No, he might. I didn't hate his Joker.
Yeah,
I didn't. I hated the movie. The movie was bad.
Performance-wise, it wasn't the worst, but it was more visually the worst.
Yeah. Anyway,
those tattoos were so bad.
Hey, you gotta start somewhere. You gotta be different enough from Heath Ledger.
Woof. Hopefully this Joaquin Phoenix one's good.
So, oh yeah, I'm excited for that one. But anyway, yeah. So don't wear a mask in New Orleans if you don't want to spend. Oh God, that is such a shitty way to go to jail or prison. It'll be jail. It'll be jail. But no, jail's only up to a year in. If you spend over a year, then they transfer you to a prison. Imagine if you went to fucking prison for having a mask on.
A gorilla mask.
I mean, obviously there's context to the mask, but still, bullshit.
Talking about The Mask, great movie.
That's how you get... No, we're not talking about the fucking mask. Let's move on. What do you got?
So, you know, I was trying to do some research earlier. I was pretty busy earlier, and I wasn't able to read too much into it, but...
Oh, you're pretty busy? What are you doing?
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Apparently, in the UK, there's a new trend going on, and I forgot what the British term was for it, because it was a really weird term, and I was like, what the fuck are they talking about? And I came to the conclusion that they were talking about the dumpsters, you know, like the garbage cans that it's like everybody has them. It's the issued one that has like the wheel, the little handle,
Yeah,
like
the plastic ones, not the metal ones.
I guess kids are burning those and huffing the fumes to get high.
Oh no!
And there's all these photos of public parks with like these huge like melted plastic like circles, and like kids are burning. So if you're in the UK and you have one of those, I don't know, lock a cinder block to yours or two so people don't fucking take them and huff them. But then they won't be able to take them and
just melt the wheels off. Or like the chains connected, just melt that part.
Well, no, I'm just saying when you leave them out for people to collect.
I'm saying right now, if you're there's like, I think this is pretty widely known, but high school kids will try anything and anything to get high,
to get that sweet high.
I mean, the one thing I remember when I was growing up is that
what did you do to get high?
No.
What was your wildest high experience?
No, I didn't. I was a square, dude.
I know you were. That's why I'm asking.
What do you do, fucker?
Nothing.
Exactly, fucking square. That's why we have a fucking podcast.
Yep.
We suck.
I was all hyped up on fucking prescription medication.
I took sour straws.
You know, they banned Pixie Sticks from my middle school because kids were snorting them.
Oh my god! You want to hear something fucking crazy? I totally went off on a different tangent. Anyway, I'll do both of these really quick. But basically, I remember my neighbor's trash can was on fire one time, and my dad's like, "Whatever you do, don't breathe in that black smoke. That is like really toxic."
Oh, that's a sweet smoke.
And apparently now it's a new recreational activity. But what I was gonna say is that my brother told me this could have been a myth, but he says he knows the kid And there's a kid in his class who took Fun Dip. Remember Fun Dip?
Of course.
Where you had that little
How
white
could you
stick.
forget?
Did you have that rumor that the white stick in Fun Dip was made out of like cow shit or something like that?
No, because I remember I would get the Fun Dip thing, and I would just eat the stick and I'd throw the rest away.
Okay, so you're just straight eating cow shit.
Yeah.
So, okay.
If that's what it is, then that's what I was doing.
So
no shame.
I remember somebody said, like, the stick's made of something weird. But basically, he took a bunch of Fun Dip. He put it out on the table. He, like, made it in the
Laced
lines
it.
in class.
Oh.
He put, like, salt in there. He put, like, you know, kids were just like, oh, here, put this in, put this in.
Exactly.
Couldn't mix in pencil shaving. I don't fucking know. But basically, he snorted it. And then my brother said that, I don't know if he was in the class with him, but he said that his nose started bleeding. And he's like, oh, I don't, like, feel good. And he, like, went to the nurse's office. And he said from then on out, like, he was, like, fucked in the head, apparently. The only thing that I really remember is that he said he couldn't be in any classrooms with the computers because he said that if the computer fan came on in the you know, the tower, he would cover his ears and start screaming.
Okay, bullshit. Bullshit.
I have no
Bullshit.
idea. I know.
Bullshit.
But, I mean...
None of that makes sense. There's not one part of that makes sense.
Oh, fuck, I almost fell backwards in my chair. I laughed so hard.
Okay, so first of all, the fan that almost no one even hears.
It cools down your computer. Well, he could hear it. He's an X-Men now.
So then explain to me how all the other noises in the world doesn't make him cover his ears, but that tiny, tiny fan that's the size of a fucking Oreo makes him lose his mind.
Why don't we like fingernails across the chalkboard? You just don't like some shit, you know?
I don't know, man. That doesn't make any sense.
I don't like that. You know, my least favorite thing is when you take two pieces.
When people like you?
No. Why, that's hard for me. When you take two pieces of styrofoam and rub them together, that's like my Achilles heel. I hate that. My palms start sweating and stuff like that. I really don't like that noise.
I'm trying to think of the sound that really gets me going. in the worst way possible.
Okay.
I know there's one sound.
Is it a computer
I can't think of what it is. What is it?
I feel like you're a computer fan kind of guy, right?
No, because my laptop overheats almost every time we do this podcast, and it goes.
I don't like amber lamps.
What's that?
Ambulances.
Oh, yeah, I don't care.
But that, like, I don't like plugging my ears when they pass in public because people are like, "This little bitch." But so if like no one's looking, I'll like put a hand over like the ear facing
really
the ambulance because those things fucking hurt.
Oh, when they go right past you, yeah.
Yeah, I fucking hate them.
They're loud.
I don't like them. I really don't care they're saving people because I don't like them.
They dummy loud.
Ban ambulances.
They dummy loud.
Hot take. Anyway, you don't have a sound, do you?
I have one. I just can't think of what it is right now. I haven't heard it in a while.
No. Well, you'll find it. Don't worry, man. You'll find it. But so,
oh my god, I'm scraping so hard. I don't know what it is.
Don't smell trash cans, people. Because they smell like shit, and they double smell like shit, and they'll kill you when they're on fire. So, don't do it. English kids, you have a lot of stuff. I don't know. Like, what's better? Tell them to do other recreational drugs or
make pot legal.
Poisoning.
Fuck. Let the kids fall asleep.
It's not legal over there yet?
Eat a bunch of fucking candy and fall asleep. I don't know.
Eat a bunch of candy, fall asleep. That's not what happens when you eat candy.
No, when you get high.
Oh, yeah, do that. Eat a bunch of cannabis. So, okay. We should probably get into these stories.
Go for it.
Before they burn a hole in my trash can.
Do it.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so today I'm going to be telling you guys about an island that is south of Cuba. It is in the Caribbean, and it goes by the name of Martinique. You ever been there?
I haven't been there.
You've been to the Caribbean. I have not. But there's a lot of islands over there. This is not a very big one.
I feel like I swam in like the
Caribbean Sea?
Yeah.
Caribbean Sea? Okay.
Mexico has the Caribbean Sea, right?
Yeah, there's the Gulf of Mexico, and then there's a part of Mexico, or I think it's actually Brazil. Maybe that touches the. I don't know.
I was just in Tulum. I think that's the Caribbean Sea.
It might be,
or was it Colombia?
No, it comes close. Like I think there might be like a part of Mexico that also touches the Caribbean Sea, but the Gulf of Mexico goes into the Caribbean Sea. So
that is one subject I was never really taught on.
Technically,
in high school,
it's the same water.
Yeah, water's water.
Hey, buddy, you're telling me. You're preaching to the fucking choir.
Yeah. No, in high school, I don't think I ever had it like geography class.
Oh, okay. Well,
Was not taught.
hey, dude, water moves. You can't pin down water, man.
You don't own that water.
So, okay, let's get into this. So, I'm going to give you a little bit of the history of Martinique, the island, and more specifically, a little town by the name of Saint Pierre. So, in 1635, this guy named Pierre Bilaine, I don't know what the fuck his last name is. It's like Istanbul. He's a French governor of the island of Saint Kitts, which was an island nearby. And he landed in the harbor of Saint Pierre with 150 French settlers after being driven off Saint Kitts by the English. So the English are just like fucking lighting trash cans on that new island. And
They got real high and out of vision.
Loving it. So they kicked the French off. French were like, let's go find a new island.
Yeah.
So many of the earliest French settlers were French Protestants or Huguenots who sought greater religious freedom.
Through Hulk Hogan?
They were not Hulk Hoganites.
Okay.
But they just wanted greater religious freedom than what they could experience in mainland France. The island itself was actually used as a threat by King Louis XIV for Protestant heretics who would not reconvert to Catholicism. So he basically ended up sending about 1,000 Huguenots to Martinique during like this period. And usually under like pretty miserable and crowded ship conditions, and many of the people died en route to this island.
I mean, that's how it always is, right?
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, if you're being driven from somewhere, there's like, okay, like how can we get you on the dirtiest bus ever? You know what I mean? It's like you're gonna be sitting between a homeless guy and a guy who's just like
doesn't have a home,
smells like shit.
Oh
yeah,
next to a homeless guy and a guy that doesn't have a home.
I don't want to homeless shame here, but
no, I'm just joking.
Is that a thing? Anyway, but once you got to the island, actually, King Louis would rarely suppress the Protestant heretics at all, and he actually just ignored the island altogether. So he's like, if you're not fucking, coming up in my house and yelling about, how bad Catholicism is, then I don't really care if you're there or not. So,
which is, kind of a cool thing for him to do.
Well, I mean, he would send people to the island and be like, "Oh, go kick the shit out of the Protestants,
go fuck their shit up a little bit."
Yeah, go like slap them around. But I think he kind of just forgot about it. It was like really on the back burner. He's like, "I don't give a shit, whatever."
Being a king is a hard thing. You gotta worry about the shit that's on the soil of your own feet.
Yeah,
right.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm just
dude. You are a geography expert. Soil. You know what soil is?
That's when you shit your pants, right?
So at this point, King Louis standing in a pile of shit, and he's just telling the Protestants that they can't be Protestants.
Well, it's fresh. It's fresh shit.
Fresh shit.
A king has to have some fresh shit.
Soiled it. Remember what SpongeBob was saying? Doesn't matter. The island itself began to prosper, though, after a while, and after a couple hundred years of ruthless colonization by the French, naval battles with the British, and constant policy change, by 1902, the small town of Saint Pierre became known as the Paris of the Caribbean. Isn't that nice?
It's pretty nice.
Sandals, Jamaica.
Did you get what I did
Paris of the. What'd you do?
I said Nice.
No, I don't.
There's a place in Paris. There's
Oh, it's like
a
nice,
city.
spelled nice.
It's spelled nice.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
easy.
I see you are. You knew.
I know more about
Stop
European geography than I do anything else.
Stop sharking me over here.
I don't know shit about America.
I don't know. Treason! St. Pierre you go. So,
where are the Dakotas? I don't even know, and I've been there.
So, I mean, this is kind of fucked up because I'm, like, kind of glazing over this, but, like, the French and the British, like, basically, and us, the Americans, they all just basically went to these islands and were like, oh, these are really nice, and the locals are like, yeah, I know, like, aren't these beautiful? And they're like, why are you guys here? So they basically just, like, pushed them to, like, one side of the island to, like, the extent where, like, there were a few people left by, like, 300 years later, but most of them were just, like, some of them, like, worked into society and stuff like that, where they're living amongst them, and other ones they just, like, killed. And it's pretty awful. I don't have to tell you guys about
shit happens.
Colonization.
It's history.
It's
like,
not
terrible
great.
things are happening to
I feel like I had to
history.
address that.
Yeah, for sure.
But, like I said, 1902, a couple hundred years later, Paris of the Caribbean, but that was until the very same year when it all stopped, as the entire town would be completely wiped off the face of the earth.
Oof.
Oh, bet you wonder what I'm talking about. So, on the morning of May 8th, 1902, ships loaded up with wooden crates of rum and pallets of sweet sugar. Mm-hmm. I ain't talking about that
Booger sugar?
No, I ain't talking about that Fun Dip cow shit stick sugar.
Okay.
I'm talking about that sweet cane, baby.
Okay.
No, I'm talking about like regular sugar.
Oh.
Yeah, but as this sugar went to go, across the Atlantic to go sell, it was actually not this day, but the night before this beautiful morning where our story begins. So Louis Auguste Sylbaris, maybe, I don't know, a.k.a. he switched his name to Ludger Sylbaris. So we're going to call him Ludger from now on. Because
Lug?
Yeah, or good old Lug. So it's Ludger.
You think lugs are still making shoes?
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
You don't know about lugs?
I know about Uggs.
Lugs was like the knockoff Timberland.
Okay, we can't go down this route right now. Okay. So, Ludger Sylbaris, a 27-year-old hooligan, was known as the troublemaker of St. Pierre since he was born there in 1875. So he was 27 now, and Ludger was actually a convicted felon who was only good at two things. What were those two things?
Smuggling and murder.
No.
Okay.
A little less crazy than that,
Okay. Theft.
No, a little less. Just like, well, I'm just gonna tell you, drinking and what comes close with drinking.
Smoking.
No, fighting.
Okay.
So he was good at drinking and fighting. And on the night of May 7th, 1902, guess what he was doing?
He was drinking and fighting.
He was fucking playing "The Boys Are Back in Town."
Hell yeah.
At fucking the bar, and
he wrote that song.
Yeah, he is Thin Lizzy. So irritated with his antics, the police threw him into solitary confinement, a tiny half-underground cell with no windows and only a very narrow slit on the door facing out to the sea.
So I'm sorry, he was drinking and fighting and doing all this bullshit, and they threw him in fucking solitary confinement?
Well, he was he was known for this. So they're like, fucking goddamn it, Ludger, like, what are you doing, man? So they went and a lot of people were like, oh, he murdered somebody. That's why they put him in solitary. And then when they asked him, they're like, no, he didn't murder anybody. He's like, no, I didn't kill anybody. Like, I literally just fought like a dude. He got in like a brawl or something. But they just had enough of him, and they're like, you're always a problem. Okay. So they put him in this tiny cell, like out near the coast, and it was just like a tiny little rock like hut. Mm-hmm. It was like a half dome, and it had like a really narrow slit in the door, and it looked like it kind of sucked. So
they said he was underground.
It was like half underground, so it's kind of like built into the side of like a hill or a mountain.
Yeah, okay.
But it was facing out to the sea, so that's.
Did he get that nice ocean breeze through the rocks, and he could hear that?
Whatever air fit through that slit, he probably got, But I bet the guys were just blowing burps right through that slit the whole time.
Just farting all up in there.
Farting on a slit in the door.
Yeah.
So
pushing them cheeks against the door.
Ludger's like, please, no. I'll go back to regular. I'll never do it again. I promise.
There's that one big jailer that's like holding all the other guys up against it so they could just get those cheeks right up against that slit.
I like to picture one of them is doing like a little tabletop stance, and they're just like taking turns standing on his back to fart through the slit in the door.
It's very good.
It's fun.
I see what you're saying.
Just 5 miles from the thriving city sat a 4,500 foot high volcano by the name of Mount Pelée. So just right off in the distance.
They knew it was a volcano?
They knew it was a volcano.
Okay.
But like I said, what I'm about to say, now the volcano had creaked and grunted back in 1792.
I'm sorry, what did it do?
It was... it was like...
Hey guys, I got lava in here.
It went... Anyway, sorry guys for that. So it creaked and grunted back in 1792 and had showered the northern lobe of the island with fine ash once in 1851. But after a few more coughs and some minor mudslides, Pelée felt quiet for half a century, and the islanders thought it was inactive, forgetting about it entirely. So it was more of just like
take it from me. It's so easy to forget about volcanoes.
Yeah, I was about to say...
You're just like, oh, it's not going to erupt. Like, and
Rainier?
then like 20 minutes later, it's like... What's that? Like, you want to go hike that mountain today?
Like, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, the Pacific Northwest is like the hot spot.
Oh, we
literally.
love our volcanoes.
Yeah, so I mean, Seattle has one like literally. It's like the skyline of half the city, right?
Is Mount Hood a volcano? Fuck.
Mount Hood, I think.
No. There's one in Oregon, and it's spacing me.
Rainier.
Rainier's
that's
Washington.
That's Seattle. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I've heard of Mount Hood.
I'm gonna be like banned from Oregon. For not
Anyway,
remembering.
this is
Mount St. Helens.
Okay. Oh, that's the one that blew up.
Yeah.
That was the big one that blew up in like the 60s, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah, that was a big one. So, basically, we're not there though. So shut up. So we're in Martinique. So just 3 days before this disaster that was about to occur, on May 5th, events took a deadly turn when a massive lahar, which is a destructive mud flow on the slopes of a volcano.
Thank
you
you.
guys are going to learn about a lot
Thank you.
about
I had no idea what the
volcanoes.
fuck you're talking about.
So as a lahar, actually, the reason I chose this story is because I took a natural disasters geology class in college, and my professor told me about this story, and I thought it was the coolest fucking thing.
God, you're such a fucking idiot.
No, I'm not. So,
So you're talking about some spicy mud moving fast?
so yeah, it's a lahar destructive mud flow.
Just call it a spicy mud moving fast.
Spicy mud. So,
Moving fast.
Moving fast.
Say it. Say
Spicy
the whole...
mud moving fast.
Thank you.
So the fucking lahar broke through the. It's.
What are you giving them? You giving the volcano
giving
genders
them
now?
Names. Yeah. So don't assume my volcano's gender, please.
Put it on a t-shirt.
So the lahar broke through the crater wall and came screaming down the Rivière Blanche at speeds topping 62 miles per hour.
Holy shit.
Pretty quick.
Think about that.
No,
Think about lava moving at 60 miles per hour. Like, you're not going to be able to, like, break its ankles.
This is
You can't run.
This isn't lava. This
This is the spicy hot mud?
This is hot mud.
Okay.
So it's coming up, but like that's the thing. Pyroclastic flow, which we will get into later, is the thing that usually gets you. People go, I can outrun lava. Lava's slow. It's like that's not what kills you.
Isn't it just the heat coming off of it?
No, it's a combination of gases and mud and rocks and all coming down at superheated levels. And
So they're almost like comets, like hitting the earth?
No. It's like a giant mudslide. I mean, if you really want to Google it, it looks fucking insane. It looks like a giant cloud of like dark dirt and mud, and it's coming at you at like over 100 miles per
The
hour.
apocalypse is going to be fucking lit.
Yeah,
The big
so-
one is going to be sick.
It's gonna be crazy. So,
You think Skrillex will play it?
he will definitely. So it's topping 62 miles per hour, and a devastating mixture of mud and hot water. The slide destroyed a sugar processing plant on the coast, killing almost 24 people. The debris then spilled into the ocean, producing a 3-meter-high tsunami that overwhelmed St. Pierre. So the tsunami was, for the town, it was pretty detrimental. Where it was like, oh fuck, like. It's not that high, but it was enough for them to notice and be like, oh shit, like this volcano's doing some shit.
I mean, is it fair to say this is the time where they didn't really know what tsunamis were?
I think they knew what tsunamis were. Like, tsunamis probably had happened in the past, maybe not to the small island of Martinique, but they definitely knew what 24 people dying was, so that was enough for them to be like, oh shit.
Sorry, what year is this?
1902.
Oh, for some reason I thought this was way before. Sorry.
No. So, Pele's eruption continued to intensify, and on the next day, May 6th, flames followed by a lava dome poked above the volcano's rim. The authorities, however, insisted there was nothing to fear. The very same day, members of a commission appointed by the island's governor, whose leading expert was a high school science teacher, I don't want to shit on science teachers, but like you should probably get a geologist in there, right?
I feel like it's so often I hear these stories where like a high school science teacher is just like
That's every alien movie.
the big dick dog
He's like
coming through.
It's like Jeff Goldblum being like, "Oh, he didn't amount to much.
Stranger Things.
He didn't amount to much, but he's about to save the fucking earth."
Exactly.
So this
It keeps people teaching high school.
Exactly. You got to put up with those shitheads. So, a lava dome poked above the rim, and they got this commission together whose leading member was a high school science teacher. And he told the local paper, or the entire commission told the local paper, that Mount Pelee presented no danger, leading many people to actually travel into the city to seek refuge. So there were people on the outsides, and St. Pierre was the biggest city on the island at the time. So,
Okay.
I mean, it looked pretty nice from like the drawings and stuff like that. I think there are some pictures. I've seen some pictures of.
Is this a fairly big island, or?
It's not huge.
Okay.
It's big enough, but I don't know. I didn't get the exact measurements, but
Yeah.
it's substantial. So the very next day, on May 8th, the town of St. Pierre carried on like any other normal day, when in an instant their entire world would change. Mount Pelee exploded, and a cloud of smoke covered the sky for 50 miles around. A cloud of superheated volcanic gas and dust spilled out of the volcano at speeds between 100 and 430 miles per hour. See, that's what people don't understand, is that this shit is like, there's been world-renowned geologists who have died because of pyroclastic flows, because usually they go and they fall down a valley. They find like the lowest point near the volcano. So some people be like, oh, this is like a fine valley, this is okay, and they'll get in the wrong valley.
It's gonna get filled up.
Yeah, and
It's gonna fill
it
up.
fucking kills them. There's like this couple back in the 80s who died that way, where they just got overwhelmed by this thing, and it just murdered them.
Like,
so
fuck, it's going triple-digit speeds.
yeah,
Like,
well, they don't know exactly how fast it was going, but
that's faster than I can run.
yeah, because it says they say lahars and pyroclastic flow can go between 62, and I think the highest recorded is 430. So they said it can go between there, and they said that this pyroclastic flow wiped out the town within minutes. So
Yeah, it's faster than I can run.
yeah, and it was 5 miles away. So
I feel like you're not acknowledging the fact that
I'm really into these volcano facts.
I don't think I can run between 60 and 400 miles per hour.
I mean, if you have a bird scooter.
I'd fucking be grinding on shit.
Oh man, I feel like I would see the pyroclastic flow coming down the mountain, and then I'd be like, I look at everybody, and I take off my shirt and pull out my surfboard and be like, "Surf's up!" And then I just start paddling, and then everyone's paddling with me, and then we're riding the pyroclastic flow down the mountain. That's the only way it can work.
That's the only way. Aloha, bruh.
Johnny Tsunami.
Yeah. I mean, what's your surfboard made out of? The shit that fucking Wolverine's bones are made out
Silver
of?
Surfer surfboard. That's like our second Silver Surfer reference on here too.
Yo, shout out Silver Surfer.
Shout out to the surfer. So it's going 100 to 430 miles per hour, destroying everything in an 8-mile radius. Within a single minute, apparently, a pressure wave, it said a minute to like a couple minutes, I don't know what it was, but within minutes, a pressure wave of a 1,075 degree gas and volcanic material had flattened every building in the city of St. Pierre. Let me say that number again. 1,075 degree gas and volcanic material cloud.
My oven doesn't get that hot.
No, it doesn't.
How fast do you think you cook a pizza? Like less than a second?
I don't know. How hot do those pizza ovens get? Like those Neapolitan pizzas, because those are really hot. Those get like, I think 700 maybe. I could be completely wrong, but those like flash cook it. So yeah, and pizza's stronger than me. So I mean,
For sure. I've fought in many pizzas and I've lost every fight.
That'll be another episode, the Great Pizza Battle of 1812.
That's a really... Oh my god. How have I not thought of that yet?
I don't know.
We need to cover that one.
So much marinara. So much marinara. So
Have you forgotten about the mozzarella?
So anyone caught in its path instantly caught fire and burned to death. Even those in shelters were suffocated as the wave of superheated gas burned up the oxygen and replaced it with deadly gases, burning their lungs from the inside from just a single breath.
Well, shit. It's like, you ever seen those videos when like people put like objects near lava and they don't even have to touch it to like fucking ignite
Exactly.
and engulf in flames and shit?
That's the thing I think people like.
You don't have to touch the lava to burn, motherfuckers.
It's like what they highly underestimate, where they go, it's the same with like atomic bombs, where they go, well, I could just like find hide
in a A fucking refrigerator?
refrigerator like Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
No, but like people go, oh, like I can find shelter if there's like an atomic bomb coming or like a pyroclastic flood. But the thing they don't understand is that when an atomic bomb goes off and you're like exposed to the radiation, within days, like your skin starts sheathing off.
Then you grow scales.
Yeah, and you become lizards.
And you have 5 arms.
And then you attack Alex Jones. So, but basically, these people thought, they could survive by going in some of these, like, other buildings that were a little bit farther. But, I mean, even the gas got them.
You just don't stop
catch on
running.
Fire. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of futile at that point, right? Like you said, no birds on the island. How you going that quick?
True.
No surfboards, probably. No one has time to grab their surfboard.
No.
You're running. You're just dying tired. That's
exactly. You might as well just start tugging it.
Just up. I was gonna say the same thing, but I was like, no, you just gotta find like the most attractive person nearby and be like, hey, you down? Like,
you down?
You down?
Hey, you down?
We got a minute. I think we could do it.
Trust me, I can do this.
It's like Rudy, but booty. Oh, that's a movie right there. Think about that.
Almost like Rudy, but booty.
So, nearly all 30,000 residents of the island were killed instantly, and the city burned for days afterward. Okay, now, you guys might be forgetting, though. There was one guy.
Hold on, what the whole tugging thing, you know about the masturbating man of Pompeii, right?
I know that there's probably a guy found in Pompeii who is in the form that looks like he's grabbing his wiener.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it's all fake. It's like a big joke, but there is like a photo of a guy that looks like he's just cranking it.
Speaking of Pompeii, I did see another really funny thing. I mean, he might have been cranking it though.
No, I heard that mummified body is just nowhere near Pompeii, so I don't think it has anything to do with it. But it's just a funny picture that someone did. Yeah, it's just a funny idea that Pompeii was erupting, and one guy was like, you know what, fuck it, let's go.
I mean, it's not the worst idea.
I want to think that there was someone in Pompeii that just started just going to town and died, but there's no remains of it.
It would be
someone had to.
It would be a real shock to my system, though.
It's Jon Snow.
I was gonna say it'd be a real shock to my system to feeling the best thing in the world compared to right after instantly the worst thing in the world, which would be
Ain't That Life?
Climax and death, I guess. Yeah, I guess you're right. So basically, you forgot about this one guy who was in a cell, though, who was not in the town. He was on the edge of town. Mr. Ludger.
This is kind of like that whole Walking Dead kind of thing, where it's like the world's ending. Do you let the prisoners go to try to save themselves, or do you just leave them locked up?
Well, that's the thing. There's nobody else to let him out. So Ludger sat in his cell as he heard the sound of something unworldly coming toward him. Completely helpless, stuck in a tiny cell with the farters on the outside, probably. I don't think there's anybody farting in this all the time.
They were farting, and that steel door started to heat up, and they just got fucking cauterized to it.
Cheeks. Rosy cheeks. So he's stuck in the tiny cell, and Ludger said that the first thing he noticed was the slit in the door where the light would come through went dark suddenly. Then all of a sudden, the room flash heated to over 1,000 degrees as ash began to pour through the slit in the door. Imagine a room flash heating to 1,000 degrees. It doesn't seem livable, right?
So my question is, like, at what degree temperature does like the human body just like ignite? I
don't know. You want to find out? I got an oven.
Yeah, let's figure it out.
No, so basically, I don't know. This guy didn't come out. I'll get into it in a second. But Ludger had to act fast before he passed out, so he took off all of his clothes and urinated on them.
Yeah.
He pee-peed all over his clothes.
I do it too.
Next, he shoved them into the slit of the door to try to block the ash and the heat from coming in. But it did neither, as he became horribly burned all over his body from the nearly unsurvivable temperatures. So, I mean, there are pictures of him. He's a
toasty boy.
His face is fine, but like his back is covered in like scar tissue. He got probably pretty bad second or third degree burns.
I can only imagine that happening, turning your back to the heat and just like fetus position, just trying to like protect your face and like your frontal.
Honestly, I don't know how like he even survived. Like people get third-degree burns or whatever, and they die from infection. And I don't know how in 1902 he didn't. But I mean, he sounds like a pretty tough son of a bitch. So
I mean, he got in bar brawls. He's a tough
he was a
dude.
good drinker. I feel like a lot of people who are just like old, they'll tell you like, "What's the secret?" And be like, "I drink every day," and you're like, "Oh, you shouldn't tell people that."
Yeah.
But maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe he like poisoned his body every day so it could like survive unrealistic, livable situations.
See, I would think just like pushing alcoholic fumes out of your pores would just ignite you faster.
That's true. I mean, no, it wasn't 100 proof. So,
Oh, okay.
I don't know what. Actually, rum probably then was probably way stronger. So
It's like fucking ethanol.
he might have been blind. so 4 days later, rescuers surveyed the town to witness the damage that was done. But all of a sudden, they heard a soft cry from the small all-stone jail cell. And they pulled Ludger from the cell, horribly burned, dehydrated, and hungry, but still alive.
But was he hangry?
He was.
You'd hope this motherfucker was
I
hangry.
tell you something. He probably didn't throw a punch at these guys. He's probably just like, "Oh, thank you so much."
You got some bread.
Was it hot in there? Or was it just me? So, man, these clothes smell like piss.
Yeah, I could eat myself. I'm so
Do
cooked.
you think you put the clothes back on?
I bet he slapped them back on.
That's interesting to try to pee on your clothes, and that I can't like pee sometimes when there's somebody standing too close to me at the urinal.
Life or death. You couldn't piss on your clothes thinking it was gonna save your life.
No, I probably could.
If you're alone in a room.
Let's just say this: he probably was shitting, and it was like he's probably shitting his pants. He was like, "Well, might as well try to."
Might as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, Ludger was thought to be the only survivor for a while until they realized two more people had lived through the disaster as well. A man named Leon Compereri Landre.
Nice.
That sounds
Crushed it.
That was like a Spanish pronunciation,
crushed
but I
it.
think he's French.
You crushed it.
So he was living.
did it.
He was living on the edge of the city, and he escaped with severe burns all over his body as well, and also a young girl, Havivra da Ifrili, who reportedly escaped with injuries during the eruption by taking a small boat to a cave down the shore, and was later found adrift 2 miles from the island unconscious.
Okay.
So
So as far as I know, when a small island erupts with a volcano, the water surrounding it is like boiling hot.
oh yeah, probably.
Yeah, so you have to at least get some distance from the island if you're like in it.
Yeah, the good thing she had the boat, because if she probably jumped in, it probably would have fucked her up a little bit more.
That
but-
boiled wood only made it stronger.
Exactly. So, but she went down to a little cave, and apparently they said, "How do you know about this cave?" And she said, "I play pirates there with my friends." And I was just thinking about
Playing pirate saves your life.
sometimes caves aren't full of fun pirates. Sometimes they're full of cannibals, like we talked about.
true.
Good old Sonny Bean.
Or people getting stuck.
So, or we talk a lot about caves in this podcast.
Was that what episode was the guy getting stuck in the cave?
That was
that episode 1?
No More Caves, No More Attics. That was episode 3, I believe.
It was early.
That's a good one. If you guys like
Deep cut.
being fucking really scared, listen to that one, because
If you don't like being stuck in caves, listen to that.
That one's terrifying. So, horribly scarred and having survived such a terrible disaster, Ludger became a world celebrity. His crimes were pardoned. Like, he even fucking did anything that bad. He got into a fight. Like,
Yeah,
no one's there.
It was a bullshit reason he was there in the first
no one's
place.
there to even carry it out. Like, no one
Yeah.
could even. They'd be like, "Why were you in that jail?" And he's like, "I committed a crime." And they're like, "Oh, well, we don't have anybody to tell us what you actually did. So what do you do?" He's like,
Okay.
"I loitered."
Realistically, it's like he could just be like, "Yeah, I got drunk, I got in a fight," and they're like, "Oh,
That's the thing.
not a big deal."
They said that a lot of people believe that he murdered somebody, but then he was like, "No, I just got in like a fight." And I was like, "Oh, that's what you would say if no one's there to."
It's possible that he could have killed someone. In a
he
fight,
could have
yeah.
killed somebody. He didn't look like the nicest guy, So
I've heard of multiple people getting in like bar fights and like punching someone, and they fall backwards and like hit their head on a table,
Yeah.
and people like die from that shit. And so, like,
for
yeah.
sure, for sure. So I mean, he could have definitely done that. He looked like a big, strong dude too. So I mean, he could have probably knocked your life out of your brain. That's what people say, right?
I think that's a saying.
Knock your life out of your brain.
I've
Hey,
heard it
you
before.
keep it up, I'm gonna fucking knock your life out of your brain, asshole.
Can't wait to use that one.
It's my turn at the condom machine in the bathroom.
The ping pong
You
game.
remember that? You remember
Huh?
that? We didn't have that
I was
experience.
gonna say, what the fuck are you talking about?
But do you remember like the old machines and like the?
Oh, yeah.
They have like cologne and condoms and.
No,
stuff
the
like
best
that.
were the weird little sex toys that came with it.
Yeah. Wait,
They weren't
what?
even. You never saw those ones that would be like a weird
What bars
little.
do you go to?
I'm just saying, like I've stopped at truck
Good
stops.
kind? Oh, okay. I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, I've driven cross country. What are you gonna do about it?
Drug stops. That's where all the shit
Little
goes
ticklers and shit like that. There's like, is anybody actually buying this shit? Is anything gonna come out
down.
of this
Somebody
machine?
bought it. Somebody bought it.
Well, no, it's basically kids that have coins that thinks it's funny, and then it's like
Now they have a.
it's one of those little monster things you put on your finger that have like the arms and they're glow in the dark.
I've seen the ones that are like boner pills and like cologne and condoms.
It still blows my mind when you go into a
gross.
gas station. They have those like weird, like the rhino pills or whatever they're called.
Oh my
like,
god! I would never put
do
that in my
people
body.
use those? What happens?
So scared of ingesting those. So
But they sell them nationally. So like, can it be that bad?
they're still in business.
I was thinking about that the other day. It's like they're selling these at every gas station I go to. Like I'm not interested in buying it, but it seems so sketchy. Like,
They'll be like
Does
called
it not-
Magnum Force, and there's like.
Yeah.
But do you see the ones that are like health and wellness pills, and there's like 20 different colored pills in a little bag, and you're like, that can't be good for you,
I
right?
only vape my vitamins.
You vape vitamins.
I vape my vitamins.
That's something new that they should create.
No, it's a thing.
Oh fuck! I don't want to get into this. So, like I said, he's horribly scarred, and he survived this terrible disaster, and now he became a world celebrity where his crimes were pardoned, and he was now hired to tour with Barnum and Bailey's Circus, where he was advertised as being, quote-unquote, a living relic and, quote-unquote, the man who lived through doomsday. So, I mean, he turned this...
That'd be a sick thing to be known as.
Yeah, I mean, because I feel like the only reason they actually put him in there is because he had these like burns all over his body, and
He had
like
the visual.
yeah, because
Yeah.
if I walked in there, I was like, I survived Doomsday, and they're like, what happened? And then you told them the story, I'd be like, well, how do I even know it's real? But like, if you're burned all over your body, then you look, you
They're
look
like,
the
we know
part."
you're pathetic looking, but how did you do it?
I'm like, I pushed a lot of people over and I ran.
I started at 6'5".
Well, there was a boat full of there's a boat full of children and women, and I threw them over, and I took the boat and I rowed out to sea, and they're all dead. But hey, look at me.
I'm here.
What do you mean I was 6'5"? Oh, I lost half my fucking body. Fucking prick. I'm 5'8". Okay, I don't need this shit.
Continue.
So today, the cell which saved Ludger's life can be visited in St. Pierre. The town never recovered, though, from the devastation. Even today, over 100 years later, the town's population is only about 6,000.
Okay.
So it went from like 30,000 to 40,000 people.
I thought you were gonna stop at 6.
No.
6 people are there.
6 people. But to end this off, the Mount Pelee volcano is still described as the worst volcanic disaster of the 20th century, and although this natural disaster took place many years ago, with the volcano sitting quietly ever since, the 6,000 residents of the current St. Pierre must remember that Pelee is still one of the most active volcanoes in the West Indies, and recently scientists have said that more than likely it will erupt again, taking whatever stands in its path.
I mean, shit, that's like the big one, right? Everybody's always talking about the big one.
I don't think that's a big one for them. I mean, what do you mean the big one? As what? It's all like territorial though, so it's like
I'm talking about the big one for us, like that's gonna fuck up the United States.
This a regular one for them. For them would be devastating.
Would be the big one for them.
They're right. Yeah, exactly. They're right in the valley. Like that's not. It's probably just like the worst place to build a town. But the thing is, they didn't know how often it would erupt, if it will erupt again. But they say that it has the option to. So
Volcanoes are some slippery motherfuckers.
it sucks because usually where the volcanoes are, it's where the islands are, especially like these hot spots and stuff
Pretty
like that.
central.
Because the islands need to form because of these hot spots. So there's always a volcano usually in the center. So these islands are beautiful, but they're also
death traps.
kind of in the worst spot, but only if the volcano goes off. If not, it's
Yeah.
like in the best spot. So it's really like you're really rolling the dice every single time.
Oh yeah.
So it's crazy. I just live on the far side of the island, really far away from the volcano. So
With a big old steel boat. Do you want a steel boat though?
no, that gets hot. You don't
Yeah.
want a steel boat. You want a blimp. You got blimp?
I don't got a blimp.
You got blimp money though?
You got a blimp?
No. Do you know the official? I'm gonna fucking get this wrong. Wait, no. Keep talking.
Google it. All right.
Yeah.
So, how's everybody doing today? Huh? I'm just trying to kill time because I don't want to get into my story before he gets this whole blimp situation.
So, oh my God, now he didn't pay the internet? No, but I think it's Long Beach, I believe. I can't think of off the top of my
LB.
head because this fucking internet's not loading right when I need it to. But I think the official bird of Long Beach, or a town really close to Long Beach, their official bird is the Goodyear blimp.
That's funny.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that blimp that you could see if you drive down like the 5 or I don't
Yeah.
know where it is, but you can see a giant Goodyear blimp, and that is their official bird apparently.
Yeah. I remember, I think it was the clothing brand The Hundreds.
Oh yeah.
They had a T-shirt that was like state birds, and it had all the state birds, and on California it had a police copter. It was pretty funny.
Oh, okay.
That was a funny shirt.
It's very true.
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily California. You say L.A.
True.
You don't. I feel like I didn't get a lot of those in like
Yeah.
where I'm.
I mean, it's
from.
an LA-based company, so it's like, you know.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So.
All right. You want me to
Okay,
start?
I'm done. Ludger is dead and well,
Oh.
and he made a lot of money.
Wait, do you know what year he died?
No, but he was 27 in 1902.
Okay. So it doesn't really fucking matter, does it?
Nope, not really.
Cool. All right. So, you guys have spoken, and we hear you loud and clear. You guys want more alien abduction stories.
Oh yeah,
People have been...
people love alien abduction stories.
Well, the sad truth is that in all of my efforts of trying to find good alien abduction stories,
hard.
they don't fucking exist.
Because a lot of them are just like crazy. Like I like to try to find some stuff rooted in fact, or like
Exactly.
where you go, maybe. But a lot of guys are just like they are a meth head, and all the meth heads get abducted. So I'm trying to get some good, like validated ones.
Yeah, so for the most part, alien abduction stories can be summed up in like a paragraph, which would only take me like 3 minutes to tell. Mm-hmm. And then you'd be stuck with a short ass episode, and nobody wants that, and everybody would be mad at me. So, I promise I will continue my search to find a story worthy of telling you guys with alien abductions. But in the meantime,
I was about to say, you're like, I just don't have a story.
yeah, no, I'm done. So in the meantime, I found a very interesting article in my research that can be considered closely related.
Okay.
And the article is titled 5 Traits You Could Get Abducted by Aliens.
Oh, so you're saying these are 5 traits that people have that are
That
highly abductable?
That have been abducted.
Oh, okay.
So I can put all the tables out on the card for you guys. And
You can put all the tables out on the cards.
fuck me, huh?
Is dyslexia one of them?
I seriously think I have a minor thing of that, especially when it comes to numbers. I can't fucking read numbers. So I'll try that again. So I can put all the cards on the table for you right here, and that means you can either,
Choose to
do all you can in your power to refrain from committing these traits, or give you all of the power to meet these little space gremlins.
Okay. So you could start buying a lot of tinfoil, cover your house, block everything, make a nice hat and a suit.
Yeah, you can joke about that, but these are like official. These are like real.
Or I was gonna say, or you could stand on top of the tallest building in your town and with the sign saying "Welcome."
No.
And try to get abducted. So
No.
there's 2 options.
So Professor Rich McAlley and hear me when I say this,
Okay.
and his Harvard University colleagues.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, you're giving a little bit.
This is coming from motherfucking Harvard. And they didn't spend 1. They didn't spend 2. They didn't spend
3.
They spent 10 years researching the mind of alien abductees through psychology.
That's too much time
Is it?
to spend on that.
Is there such thing as too much time, Tobin?
I guess not.
You guess not.
So tell me what they found in these rotten little brains.
Jesus. Okay. So in this decade of research, McNally narrowed down 5 common traits that each one of these people shared. So number 1 is regularly experiencing sleep paralysis and hallucinations when awakening.
Oh, I've heard of that. A sleep paralysis sounds fucking terrifying.
Yes, it does.
I've never had it, but I sometimes see stuff, but I've always been able to fight it with a
Big fighter.
with a baseball bat.
Big fighter.
I have many holes in my walls. They always disappears in the walls before I get a nice knock on them.
So for me, this sounds more like a scapegoat kind of from when you think of like an alien abduction is, you know, and it sounds more like blaming sleep paralysis for seeing aliens and thinking you're being abducted. I, for one, am terrified of the idea of sleep paralysis. My mom has told me a story of her having an experience where she says it was either a fever dream or sleep paralysis. And when she was pregnant with me,
You did it.
she told me that once she saw a tiny man in a top hat running around her room, crawling into her bed, and trying to steal me from her while I was still in her womb.
Warwick Davis as the leprechaun.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what I'm picturing.
I've always kind of like pictured a leprechaun because she told me this when I was really young. Because when you're young, a small man in a top hat equals leprechaun. But now I think of more of like a black tuxedo top hat.
Ooh, okay. You're thinking of more of like Red Room from Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
That guy's scary.
But that shit has always creeped me out. And she said that, like, she remembers just, like, yelling at me, like, you can't take my baby, and him just, like, trying to get under the sheets and, like, on top of stuff.
No, we missed it. We missed both of them. You know who the most famous little man who loves to steal babies is? Who?
David Bowie in Labyrinth?
No, he's not little enough. Rumple fucking Stillskin.
Yeah, did he wear a top hat? I always
I
saw him
don't
in one of
know.
those, like, weird, like, not really a beanie, but, like, a
Like
sewed-in
a train
beanie.
conductor, like a newspaper
I'm
salesman.
thinking more like a Keebler elf.
But he wanted babies. He was short.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, Tobin, I know you have your experience with these kind of types of things.
Yeah, I do.
Having terrible dreams and
Yeah.
freaking out.
Mhm.
So what do you think? Do you think maybe sleep paralysis could have something to do with...
I mean, there's always a really good option where people always go, oh, sleep paralysis. People have sleep paralysis. That's why they think they see aliens. But no one ever thinks maybe sleep paralysis is, like you said, because of aliens. Like maybe sleep paralysis is a medical term they use for being visited by aliens.
So for me, the way I see it is that not necessarily that the aliens are causing it, but the obvious answer to me is that aliens look for that trait for people that have these issues.
Like there's a connection there. Like maybe they're seeing some form of like different dimension or you know what I mean?
It's a simple case for me of covering your tracks. If someone has a history of sleep paralysis, abduct their ass because they could be like, oh, like this happened. They're like, oh, that's just your sleep paralysis.
Like go after crazy people. You're saying not crazy people, but people with these. But like that would also make sense. That would be a good way to cover your tracks.
Yeah, well, people that have excuses for why this could maybe be like not a legitimate thing, like a good scapegoat, being like aliens didn't abduct you. That's just your sleep paralysis.
Okay, I'm hearing you out.
Yeah. So trait number 2 is tendency to recall false memories.
Okay.
McNally and the team found
So
that...
you're a liar.
Well, there's a difference between...
Brian
Wilson. There's a difference between recalling false memories and being a liar. McNally and the team found that for the most part, individuals who claim to have been abducted by aliens are prone to something called false memory syndrome.
Oh, it sounds like you had a hard time finding that one.
It was misspelled.
So you do have dyslexia, dude.
Yeah. So false memory syndrome, which is basically saying that like you could be lying, but you genuinely think and you do not know that you are lying.
It's like
like you don't, like in your mind you're telling the truth.
No, yeah, people make that it's like the whole fish getting bigger every single time you tell the story type thing, where by the end of it you're actually, your mind is tricking yourself into being like, did that really happen? Or like, it's the same thing with the whole controversy with, it was Brian Wilson who was, not Brian Wilson, the anchor who said he was in the helicopter with when he got shot down.
Yeah.
And it ruined his career.
It was Brian Wilson, right? No.
I don't know.
His daughter's on Girls.
Yeah. I don't know.
Fuck, what's his name?
Brian something. But doesn't matter. He genuinely, like, there's an argument. People are like, oh, you're such a liar. You just want to be in the army and you want to get recognized for stuff you didn't do. And he's like, I honestly, like, didn't know. Like, I thought that happened because over years of telling it over and over again, you probably embellish a little bit every time.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's weird.
So again, easy one for the aliens. Y'all seen Men in Black?
Yeah. Neuralizer.
This trait is directly given to us by the little gray shits. Not really, but it's a possibility.
Little gray shits.
It's possible. So on number 3, McNally credits high levels of absorption.
What the fuck does that mean?
What the hell is absorption?
Yes.
Well, it's a mental characteristic that is related to fantasy prognosis.
Prognosis?
No, there's no G in there. So it's basically like having a very vivid imagination.
Oh.
So yeah, it's just a fancy way of saying you have a big imagination, which is not a very surprising trait to have considering the wide imagination that like could lead to some like very interesting thoughts.
Okay. It sounds like they're trying to be like, these are all people who are abducted.
Make shit up.
Because, they're basically being like, you got a big imagination. You see things when you sleep. It's kind of like, they're kind of almost defaming people who are like abducted by aliens. But
I mean, like,
then they package it as like, these are just common traits. I'm like, you're kind of shitting on them.
But like, why wouldn't aliens abduct people with big imaginations?
It's true.
They would certainly be a lot more fun to talk to. They would probably be the first to like relax, making the test much easier for the aliens.
Okay.
Think of it this way. If you met an alien, would you rather meet a boring stick in the mud or an alien who had ideas of like, you know, going and snatching humans up and be like, what's up, dude? Like, let's chat it up. Like, would you rather be talking to...
Yeah, I want to talk to an interesting alien.
Exactly. Like, why the fuck would you talk to some boring-ass person if you could, like, find someone who's got, like, a big imagination, someone who's excited to do stuff like that?
Oh, you're saying if you're an alien, you want to find, like...
You want to find Michael Scott. And if you're not trying to find...
I don't think aliens want to find Michael Scott.
No, what the comparison I'm making is you don't want to find Toby, you want to find Michael Scott.
Yes, very true. No Toby's allowed on the spacecraft.
Exactly. So the 4th trait is New Age belief.
I have no idea what that is either.
And this means simply that you are open to believing new things, such as the idea of aliens forcefully removing you from Earth to conduct science experiments on your body.
Oh.
Which is, you know, this one makes a lot of sense to me because I could see someone who...
So you're basically saying if somebody who's willing to get experimented on?
No. So not so much that, but it's more of someone who, like...
Is open to the idea of that happening?
Someone who is more, like, mentally being like, holy shit, this is a thing, more than... So, like, the idea I came up with is someone who... I'm making this up right now on the spot. Old age beliefs, because I said new age beliefs. So old age beliefs, like being like, I don't know if that's a term, but being like, you know, like a devout Christian.
Oh, okay.
And just being like, there's no such thing as aliens. This is never going to happen. And picking them up compared to someone who's like open-minded to like crazy shit like this happening and be like, whoa, this is happening.
Oh, I see what you mean. So they're open to the idea that aliens exist and that they interact with us, and they're not just like, God created us and then dinosaur bones were put there to try to test our faith. And you're like, I don't know.
But like, so you pick up like an old man who's devoted his entire life to Christianity, and I'm not singling out one.
Oh, you talking about
religion.
like you talking about my grandpa, dude?
Maybe. And I'm not talking shit on religion or
No,
anything
I
like
know,
that, because
he's
as
not.
far as I know on religion, like
He's
aliens
dead,
would
actually.
fucking destroy all religion.
Yeah, or just no, the people would just form new religion around them. They would be the new gods.
But okay, but I'm just saying.
I get what you mean.
They would rather pick up someone who's more open-minded than someone who's like, God is real, heaven is real, there's no aliens kind of thing.
Yeah.
And which makes sense to me because it's like, okay, the thing I was thinking about is if a super religious older person was abducted, do you think they wake up the next morning and just be like, oh, that was a weird dream, and never talk about it again because they can't even...
No, they would say it was angels.
Possibly.
I don't know.
But again, it's as simply as something as like aliens are looking for someone that are easy to work around.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to abduct someone that's going to be a pain in their ass. They're going to abduct someone that is open to the idea of it happening.
Yeah, I get it.
You know, someone that will accept their existence. So, last but not least, McNally's fifth golden trait for being abducted is a familiarity to the culture narrative of alien abductions.
So they're basically saying people who fucking look into alien abductions that they're more likely to get abducted. What are they looking at their browser history now?
Well, I think it's more they interviewed people, and it's like there was never anybody who was straight up just like, oh, you know, I don't know what happened. These little guys came, and I went up to like.
But that's a self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't
Exactly.
it? Because if I go, oh, it's almost like a hypochondriac, where if I look up, you know, tumors in my brain, and all of a sudden I have a headache, I'm gonna immediately go, I have a brain tumor.
Yeah.
Which I sometimes say because I'm a fucking hypochondriac.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I don't know. It's kind of a weird situation where a lot of these things I feel like lead into somebody believing that they got abducted by aliens, where like you have these ailments or you have these proclivities or hobbies that make you more inclined to be like, I want to be abducted, or I saw something, so I'm going to relate it to this thing that I know a lot about.
Yeah.
That's why people who are really heavy into religion, they go, I witnessed a miracle. I witnessed angels. And you're like, well, you just saw maybe a comet in the sky, and you're like, angels. And you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it is an interesting conversation, though, because it could also be the main reason why aliens come after these people, because of their familiarity with them, so they wouldn't be scared. They'll be more cooperative. They'll be more open-minded. And I don't know, maybe it's hard to say yay or nay, because I like to keep it open-minded, and I don't know about aliens. I don't know if they've ever visited.
So what I wrote here is like the aliens would be saying, we don't want to snatch up some rando. We want someone who knows what's going to happen. They probably think that finding someone who has an idea is much less stressful than trying to find someone who has no idea what the fuck is going on, where the prod is going, what needle's going where,
they basically don't
where
want
the bathroom is. They don't want to explain that shit to some person.
They basically don't want somebody just screaming the entire time while they're trying to like cooperate.
You want someone that knows what the fuck is going on. It's
like,
gonna go so much smoother.
Third door on the left. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna take a shit real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you do want, but then you want them to like, do you want them to be like, do you think aliens want to get people who are going to talk about it, or do you think they're going to try to get people on the hush hush, like, hey man, don't bring us up, or do you think they want people to? That's my thing. I always come back to is like, they want people to talk about them, because the more people actually talk about them, the less people believe in them.
Well, you don't flash people knowing that they're not going to talk about it.
Well, I was gonna say that. I feel like a lot of these things, if alien talk went dead, no one talked about aliens, people would get suspicious and be like, what are you hiding behind Area 51?
Yeah.
And a lot of people go, oh, it's a nuclear facility where they're testing missiles and new technology and stuff.
Yep.
But they're so quiet about it that people go, oh, aliens, for sure.
Yeah.
But if Area 51 was like, hey, there might be aliens, then they're kind of putting themselves out there, and people go, oh, there might be aliens, but like maybe not. But like the secrecy is what drives people to find out.
Yeah.
So maybe aliens are like, fucking talk us up. People aren't going to believe you, or maybe they want to be believed in.
Yeah.
Why do they want to be in? That's the other funny thing. I'm sorry, I'm going off on like a
no,
big rant,
do it.
But
That's half the reason I picked this topic, because I thought it would be more of a conversational.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious that people always go, oh, aliens came down, and they immediately went to our government and they started talking to them, and they want to like, they have to follow our government's rules. I'm like, there's space beings who have probably way better transportation, weapons, technology in general. Like, why the fuck do you think they're going to be like? One, why the fuck do you think they're going to come and be like, oh, we're only going to cooperate with like America or the American government? And
you don't go jumping down the sewer and asking to talk to the rat queen.
Yeah, that is a very weird comparison, but yeah.
You get it, right?
Yeah, analogy, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, exactly. I mean, there's also other countries who are like, oh yeah, they think Russia knows about him and stuff. But the thing that always just makes me laugh is when people immediately go, oh, like the United States government knows about him, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I want to think that they have traveled here, but like at the same time, do you think that they would be that good at hiding like who they are? You don't think that they would just be like, oh fuck, we accidentally forgot to turn on our cloak, and now some guy just saw our ship, like, but no one ever has any good pictures.
No. Well, maybe they have a thing going, and you take a photo of them, and your phone explodes, and you die.
It's true. But we also come up with a lot of excuses for them where they go, maybe they have this. And you're like, maybe they don't. I don't know. Maybe they haven't reached us yet. Yeah. But I do definitely believe that there is something out there, whether it be in this galaxy or another, that exists and is thriving. But they just can't reach us.
I'm just excited for the day that it turns out that we are the aliens and we go and we find some planet of like Neanderthals. And it's like, well, fuck, we're the smart ones. This sucks.
Yeah. And well, I was going to, yeah, I know, right? But that's the thing, though. Would you, if you found a different planet that was like pretty similar to ours, and you had a spaceship, and you're like, "Should we go land there?" Would you land there?
Yeah,
I would be so fucking frightened that I was going to be immediately imprisoned and questioned and prodded.
Oh, you mean people are already there? I thought you meant just like build a new world.
There are people there who are very similar to us, and we land there. Like, what do you think's going to happen to you? Like, I don't think aliens would want to land here. Like, especially if they know that, like, how, I don't know, maybe they're a little bit more naive because they don't think the same way we do, but we're, like, super paranoid, and we would want to use them for our own good. So, I don't know. Fuck.
Yeah, I know. I'd be really salty if we spent a real long time traveling to another galaxy, and we land there, and they're just like, we have a black Justin Bieber.
And you're like, that's the way it should be.
Yeah. Because everything's just, like, the same, but just, like, a little bit different. Oh, fuck. The U-phone.
It's close.
You got the U-phone X?
Oh, I like that. It has a nice ring to it.
Yeah. So this is the Harvard man's list of what traits them spacemen are looking for us Earthlings.
That's what we just went through.
Yeah. No, this is my you didn't let me do my last little bit.
I thought you got neuralized.
So getting on board with one of these parties on the saucers is your goal. Start thinking about these traits and start honing them in, and take those 5 traits and really start.
It's like The Secret, like visualize sleep paralysis so you can have it.
Yeah, make yourself vulnerable for them to come get you.
Very anxious all the time.
Yeah,
scared, and you
just might get snatched up.
Maybe you'll be one of the lucky ones.
Yeah.
So, wow, that was pretty intense and
educational, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think that sums up our episode for today. We talked about gorillas. We talked about what was your news story?
I'm sorry, what?
What was your news story?
Getting high off garbage cans.
Yeah, we got high off garbage cans in England. We talked about volcanoes, and we talked about some traits that you can have in order to be the next big thing at the next saucer party.
Yeah, saucer party.
So thank you guys for tuning in. We always appreciate it. We love when you guys listen, and we love telling you the stories. All the hyperlinks, campstrange.com. Who gives a shit?
Do it all.
Fucking Instagram. Fuck it all. I don't care. Who get merch? Fuck it. I don't care.
Drink Bogle.
Yeah, drink Bogle. Bogle Wine sponsors.
Bogle Wines.
We need a sponsor so bad. And please.
We
don't want the money. We just want fucking.
We just want the free wine.
Yeah, we want give us
us the bad money. Batch.
Give us the rotten shit you got that makes you blind. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We got you guys leave us a review or fucking rate or subscribe or whatever.
Be sick.
It's cool if you do it, but no one ever does it. So fuck you guys.
Whoa, we've got a lot of reviews. Don't get all pissy about it.
Only when we give away shirts.
Stop being a little bitch. We appreciate all your reviews, all your rates. It means a lot to us because it helps us grow, and it makes people, when they're first looking into our podcast, when they see that we have those reviews, it makes us look way more legitimate, and it means a lot to us. So we really appreciate when you guys do that.
Yeah. So thank you guys for tuning in. We always really appreciate it, and we love when you guys send us some spooky stories of your own. So if you do have any, send it over to campstrangepodcast@gmail.com, or just go to our website and click the contact button. Send it over. And yeah, we got another one coming out next Friday. So stay tuned and stay creepy. And don't forget to stay strange.